Hello, everyone. Well, I wanted to, since some people are misleading others about my life because they talk about me instead of themselves, and people are lying about my health issues, which is interesting because they don't really know anything about my health issues other than what I've said openly online, and how they spew and change it into something it isn't is annoying. And so I just thought, since two people have brought up rheumatoid arthritis, which I have suffered with and was diagnosed with, Lionel, who is currently lying about me. I, Deb Director, was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, RA, as they say. What year was it? I think I was maybe 38 when I was 38 years old, and I was very upset about it, by the way. I was devastated that I had a label by somebody who didn't like to label people. For him to give me a label was really shocking. By certified, licensed medical doctor in both Western and Eastern modalities. He diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis. Doctor, I forget his first name, Dr. Wong Ken. And PhD. He was like an energetic healing type Chinese Polynesian man who came to this country and got a medical degree, but also brought his ancient Chinese medicine with him, which is, real medicine. The real ancient Chinese medicine is good stuff. So this is the truth. What year was it? Well, I was born in 1962, so I was 10 in 1972. I have to do the math. I'm slow. I was 20 in 1982. I was 30 in 1992. So I was in 2000. Well, when I was diagnosed with it by a certified doctor who was also an alternative doctor as well, had both, like the doctor I worked with after him, he trained her, and she was also a Western trained medicine doctor, and then she also learned his practices. And so thank God for her, because I took my mother to him and her, because him before he passed away, and then she learned his medicine, and she was also Western trained, so she could do both things. And she was really the best doctor we've ever had, and she helped my mother and I so much. I was constantly driving my mother out to Waterville to see this doctor. It was a 45-minute drive, and she was well worth it, and always helped us. Every single thing we had, she helped in a big way, and I trusted her. We trusted her. She was she was an angel, a real one, not one of these fake satanic ones. So I was diagnosed in, I guess, 2000. I guess I'm just, very upset about it. And what helped me was, it took a long time. I took a lot of supplements. I did a lot of energetic work with him. I did whatever. I took his tinctures. But I still suffered until I moved to California, where my body really fell apart, and it was an agony, much worse than when I was living in Maine. And I called my doctor, because she does this energetic work, even though she's trained in both Western and Eastern medicine. She did what worked. And she tested me and said that the water, the metals in the heavy metals in the water were poisoning me. So, and that I'm allergic, I'm very sensitive to them in the water. And she told me to stop drinking the tap water in California. Were poisoning me. I'm allergic to them or whatever. They're bad for me, right? Because I have a lot of mercury poisoning from different sources as a child. Okay, and also back then they had metal fillings, and I did have some metal fillings. So, and some of this was in the fillings back then. And they've changed the recipe, and they do more white enamel now. But I still have metal in my mouth, and I'm allergic. Okay, I'm allergic to the heavy metals, and also because my father had lead poisoning in his body when I was conceived. Lead poisoning, or he worked in a boatyard. He had heavy metals in his body, lead sperm. So I was poisoned from the git. From the daddy-o, and I had to overcome that, okay? And one thing that helped me was stopping drinking the tap water in California when I lived there. And then my body changed, like 80% of it was the heavy metals in the tap water, which I was drinking in Maine. So when I stopped drinking the tap water, and this was just something I had to do. Not everybody has to do this. Some people have nice well water, and this isn't something everybody has to do, but what I had to do, or what I found out, helped me immensely. That was one of the things. And then I found out if you put a pinch of baking soda, just a pinch, it alkalizes, keeps your body alkalized, just a pinch, in your coffee, in your drinks, your water. And it keeps your body alkalized very gently, and it cleanses as well, and you don't overdo it. This is just what I did. It's not medical advice to anybody, so please don't act like it is. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just, and then giving a few tips. Grapefruit juice helped me cleanse. I would do these grapefruit juice fasts where I would just drink a ton of watered down with mixed with distilled water, because I was so full of heavy metals. I did not need to add more minerals. I needed to cleanse. So that's what I did back then. I would do these different. I haven't done one of these in a while because I'm not as toxified. That's why I'm so much better. These are just a few things that I added up over time. I also got you can't eat any, no processed food. You have to give that up, all completely. No processed food, and that includes food coloring. And I'm not a doctor. Now, I am not giving advice. I am just sharing a few things that seemed to work for me, old Team Rose. 64-year-old woman who was officially diagnosed by someone who doesn't even like to diagnose. That's why it was even more upsetting, and that he would even diagnose me like that. Because he said, you have a touch? He said, you have a touch. And I was like, oh, shit, are you kidding me? Well, because they don't like to label people and make you think you have something. So for him to say I had a touch of it meant I had it pretty bad. But I had a chance, in my opinion, as being me, and I am the ultimate doctor. You are your ultimate doctor, okay? And if you don't take responsibility for we, if you're a real human and not a fake reptilian vampire parasite, this is where English can be difficult, our best caretaker, Doctah, best caretaker, okay? You have to take care of your own body. And then in that way, you're your own doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not taking it away from you doctors. Work with your doctor. But you have to be the highest authority. You, of your own body, have to be the highest authority. That's my opinion. That's how I roll. I have to take responsibility for my body, and I do. And it's mine, and I'm taking care of responsibility for it. And you guys should do that as well, in my opinion. Because I learned to be empowered from Dr. Wang Ken, and I learned how to heal myself I learned energetic medicine on top of it. I learned energetic medicine from Dr. what's his name? Energetic, don't let me screw up. I trained in energetic medicine. And I worked on myself all day from, I've got his name, Dr. Ewan. And I traveled all over the country to all of his workshops. Dr. Ewan, he is also a Chinese Shaolin master. Okay? He and Dr. Wong Ken, their medicine is what I learned to heal myself. And I am a natural born healer as well. I'm also a natural born healer, so I had to heal myself. You have to do it if you are a healer. And so you to heal yourself, you have to have problems. So, I came to a human body. I was given a lot of problems by virtue of the sperm that started me out. But then my mother did a lot of good things, like made up for a lot of it by healthy food, grow her own food, no pesticides, with her own strong hands, her own love, her own strength, her human body, her mind, putting into it. And then, she raised us as best she could. And with my dad, they did their best. My dad was a hardworking, very passionate visionary who had his things to do. And, anyway, so I learned medicine from Dr. Ewan, who is a Chinese Shaolin master. And I took all of his workshops and got the thing. You get verified. And he told me got far enough that I was invited to do his master program, which I never actually fully did. But I was going to do the master program. But I was already healing myself. I was already healing my family. I already knew how to do it. And so, and he gave me permission to teach it in my town. And I tried that for a little bit, but not very much. I really I thought, anyway, so I'm teaching it. I've been wanting to teach this, but that's been sort of like coming, and now I guess it's time to do it. Dr. Ewan. And he was a Chinese Shaolin master. And then Dr. Wong Ken is the one who healed my anxiety, which is a big deal because I had that my whole life. Anxiety and depression, right? We all have that. Almost everybody has that. So he is the one that healed my anxiety and depression. He's a Chinese, and he was Polynesian. And so he had the talents, and how do you spell it? Nesian? He had the talents of both of these, bloodlines. And he was Western and Eastern, and also invented his own thing. Same with Dr. Ewan. They both invented their own thing, combining both training, both doctors in Western and Eastern, okay? With certificates and the whole shebang. Both official doctors in Western and Eastern medicine. So I worked with these two the most in both Western and Eastern. And then they also, because you have to be, in this country, you have to get a medical degree, a real one, Western and Eastern. So they brought the ancient wisdom, which I like because I'm an ancient. So I like the ancient stuff. All this pills, if it worked, you just get more poisoned. That's my experience. Everybody's different. Make sure you check with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm my own best advocate. That's how I take responsibility for my highest authority. If I want to give my power away, that's my choice. But I have to decide that, right? And then I do. And if I give my power away to a doctor and then blame the doctors if they screw it up, then, that's the path I chose. If I want to do it myself, I'm going to try to do it myself. And then they created their own protocol, created their own work, created own practice, own unique way of doing it. And I learned from both of them. I trained. I paid this guy for his mastery. And this guy I paid by going to him as a patient. I was very upset when he passed away. I was pregnant with Lily. And so I was healing myself obsessively. Healed myself using this. Healed my children. Healed my family. My friends. I healed 100. I tested 100 people to see if I could make them better. And I did. And my family and friends, I did 100 people, and to see if my work helped them. And it did. I got paid too. And then I worked outside, for people, new people. A lot of people don't have a lot of money where I live. So I did a lot of freebies and, there's a lot of this is very poor county. So there's a lot of, donation type things for people. And then I did a practice for a little while. I got tired of, this was before the chocolate biz. I was working on people energetically. And then I got tired of all these different negative stories. It was getting depressing. And I have a tendency to get depressed. It's sort of like I almost have to be around things that are joyful because I have a tendency to get depressed anyway. I'm not really, it brings me down to hear sob story after sob story. When I had my own sob story. So it was sort of like, well, and then I was healing myself. I was doing pretty good. And I had my chocolate business. But I was always dealing with a little bit of this rheumatoid arthritis, which would flare up now and then. I was, and then when I was with my second husband, he helped me do a lot of stuff. He really helped me, and he helped me by physically massaging the heck out of me and what I ever needed. And that massaging really helped move a lot of the toxins out of my body, which was causing all this flare up. Because rheumatoid arthritis, all of this is what you call autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. I was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases, okay? Same thing with HIV, autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, okay? There's that. There's RA, rheumatoid arthritis. Cancer is probably an autoimmune disease. I'm not a doctor. Anything inflammation, anything inflaming, exhaustion, anything inflammation. That's what causes it. So the baking soda calms all that down, alkalizes you. That's why the baking soda is so important. Put a little pinch in your coffee. Takes away the intense acidity and cleanses everything. You can clean everything but wood with baking soda. So it calms down the inflammation. So when you calm down the inflammation, I used to be in agonizing pain. Agonizing. There were times I couldn't get out of bed because it would hurt too much. I felt like there was a knife stabbed. It was like I had to relive everything that ever happened to me in a past life because it felt like there were knives in my hips. And I know that in a past life somebody put knives in my hips, so I couldn't walk. In war. So I calmed down my inflammation by getting off of the heavy metals in the water, the tap water, which I couldn't trust even with my filters. I didn't want to buy water, but I had to start buying it, which is another trap. And they poison the water, so you have to buy water. See they control it all. So they're just making more and more money off of all of us. And then the baking soda really helped. Getting off of wheat. I stopped eating wheat and anything, processed for a really long time. That helped a huge amount. That was the first thing I did. And first I got off of wheat. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't eat any white, anything. I could hardly eat anything. And the energetic medicine, getting off of white flour, stopping heavy metal poisoning through water. I got off of, I started using toothpaste, baking soda to brush my teeth, so I wasn't using fluoride toothpaste anymore. I'm not a dentist. I'm not a doctor. Follow what your dentist says. But for me, and then I started getting some of my memory back. I still mumble sometimes, but, so that was a nice big change. And getting that tooth out was a huge. So that was always poisoning me the whole time, And the dentist should have told me to take that thing out, and they didn't. And they should have. And it's very bad that they do the right thing by me, because I've spent years suffering when I didn't have to, and I am upset about that. So, those things, and then what else? Just, alkalizing foods, alkalizing the water with baking soda. And foods, like I said before, alkalizing foods, baking soda is an easy one. People don't realize how powerful it is. Staying away from food coloring. Food coloring is very toxic for me. No, so I can't eat a lot of things. If it has red 40 food coloring, oh my goodness. When I talk and write at the same time, no food coloring for me. That was a big one because whenever I had food coloring, it was I'd get horrible pain in my body for at least 3 days, 3 to 7 days. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to tell you so far. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for objecting to bullshit and raising your frequency and being high vibe and awesome and cool. Love you.